This trip wasn't just a hike. It was a challenge, a dream, and a little bit of chaos all rolled into one. After a hectic morning and a lucky hitch to the summit, my sister and I began our descent into Haleakala's vast silence. Over the next 3 days, we backpacked more than 20 miles through surreal crater landscapes, shifting skies, and trails that made us feel like specks in a living volcano. This was a bucket list adventure and one we'll never forget. When we reached the summit, aware of the long day ahead, we didn't linger at the visitor center or pause to explore the observatory. Instead, we headed straight for the sliding sands trail. The first glimpse of the landscape felt like standing at the edge of the earth. And as we came around the corner, I was completely awestruck by the beauty of the journey before us. I was immediately surprised and honestly a little relieved by how well-groomed the trail was. Compared to the usual Colorado trails I stumble through, this one looked like it had a standing appointment with a landscaping crew, rather than having been designed by mountain goats with a grudge. The plan for day one was simple: hike over 10 miles and descend 3,500 feet. But plans have a way of unraveling, and what started as a scenic trek soon became a slow, deliberate plunge into something far stranger than we expected.
Grab my essentials and I'll be on my way. Why am I so nervous? It's just another day. And I open up my eyes today.
We came hoping to spot the Silversword, an endangered plant which, as I understand, only grows in Hawaii. There were plenty to be seen, but we were a couple of months too early to see them flower. This one looked close. Apparently they only bloom once in their roughly 50-year lifespan, and then they leave behind this stalk. There are 3 huts scattered throughout the volcano's interior, each available for reservation. As we approached Kapalua, I imagined many hikers opting for a 4-day journey, spending one night in each hut. But Kapalua wasn't available during our visit, so instead, it offered us a lone picnic table, the perfect spot for lunch and a quiet halfway point on our first day. As we sat down to eat, we spotted a few birds, but this chukar was on a mission. This guy had clearly been fed before. He'd march up, stare us down, pretend to lose interest, and then come charging back the moment a rapper made noise. We also enjoyed watching a few nenes, but before long, lunch was over and it was time to be on our way. The second half of day one felt like a different chapter entirely. The steep descent was behind us, our legs were weary, and the terrain began to shift. As we rounded a bend, I spotted what I first dubbed a rainbow. But as our vantage point changed, the familiar shape of a full rainbow came into view. Had I not been so tired, I might have recognized it as a quiet omen of what lay ahead. What at first seemed like a nice cool mist would have us drenched by the time we reached our day one destination. We picked up the pace, stopped taking photos, and focused on getting to the cabin. With about a mile to go, my sister voiced an anxious thought that had clearly been brewing. What if we couldn't get inside? Her concern wasn't unfounded when she tried the lock. It was stubborn enough that I began scanning for a plan B. The best option I could see, a wet, miserable night under the picnic table. Thankfully, she prevailed. Later, she told me there was no way she was letting a lock stand between her and shelter. The cabin was modest, and daylight was fading fast. There was water, which my sister filtered and used to brew tea, a small luxury in the damp. She also got the wood stove going, transforming the space into something almost cozy. Morning arrived with breathtaking beauty and the promise of what was meant to be our easy day. But our bodies hadn't quite forgiven us for day one. Each step towards the next destination came with a groan, a sigh, and the quiet realization that recovery was not on the itinerary. The trail kept teasing us with views of the cliff we'd have to tackle tomorrow, like a visual spoiler we couldn't unsee. Still, we pushed through and made it to Haleakalā cabin with daylight to spare. There was time to eat, relax, swap stories, and pretend we weren't already dreading the morning. We awoke on day 3 to find it cool and misty, but we felt refreshed and ready to make our exit. The relatively flat first mile of today's 4+ mile hike would take us to the cliff's base. We felt good, but I was nervous. As it would turn out, a large number of fairly gradual switchbacks gave us an easy ascent and many beautiful views along the way. That said, between the mist and our readiness to be done, we stopped snapping photos before summiting. And believe me when I tell you that I exclaimed, "Neato," several times as the rubber of my shoe once again touched the pavement of the parking lot. Okay, it was probably a little more colorful, but you get the idea. Thanks for watching.